Stop calling us strong if you won't make our world just welcome to soft girl era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with Tasha Osafo, and let me tell you, this woman is not just a voice in the wilderness, she is a force. She graduated with honors in business administration from Hampton University and received her Master of Divinity in May 2024. Tasha gave up everything to start building ministry and being a passionate servant of the Lord in her field of study. She is a theologian, a disruptor, and a truth teller who is challenging one of the most dangerous beliefs Black women in America have been forced to carry, that our worth is measured by how much we can endure, how strong we can be, and how silently we can survive. Tasha is not just making the world a better place, she is tearing down the lies that have kept Black women chained to survival and building a new foundation rooted in biblical truth, wholeness, and justice. Today, I'm sharing the insights from my conversation with Tasha Osafo in a way that I hope will shake you, heal you, and set you free. Let's be honest, we've been sold a lie. The lie says that Black women are built different, that we can take more, that we don't need rest, that we don't need help, that we don't break. The culture wraps this lie in a bow and calls it a compliment. You're so strong. You can handle it. God doesn't give you more than you can bear. But here's what nobody tells you: that compliment, it's a cage. It's a script written by a system that needs Black women to keep carrying weight so it doesn't have to change. And when we collapse under that weight, when our bodies break down, when our minds fracture, when our spirits cry out for rest, the same system that praised our strength suddenly goes silent. Tasha Osafo is calling that out. She's saying why loudly and clearly that this expectation, this so called strong Black woman script, is not biblical, it's not healthy, and it's killing us. Literally, Tasha's main argument is this: Black women are not built just to survive oppression. We are called to live in purpose, peace, and wholeness. The expectation that we must always be strong, never vulnerable, and endlessly available to fix broken systems is not admiration, it's exploitation. From a biblical standpoint, God did not call us to be emotional martyrs for America. He called us to be his daughters, walking in authority, boundaries, and truth, not in exhaustion and silent suffering. We must stop glorifying the strong Black woman who silently carries the weight of racism, sexism, and broken systems and start honoring the Black woman who sets boundaries, seeks justice, cares for her whole self, and lives out her God given calling. Let me say that again for the people in the back. We must stop glorifying silent suffering and start honoring the woman who says no, who rests, who demands justice, and who refuses to be drained. Now, last, Tasha shared three key insights with me that I want to break down for you because these are the truths that will set you free if you let them. Insight number one: strength without rest and support is not godly, it's extraction. Research on what's called the strong Black woman schema shows that when Black women feel compelled to be endlessly strong, hyper independent, and emotionally suppressed, it leads to burnout, delayed help seeking, and serious health risks, including higher maternal morbidity and mortality. This isn't strength, sis. This is a system draining Black women dry. Tasha is saying, choose God's vision of strength, which includes rest and vulnerability and community, over America's survival script for Black women. God rested on the seventh day. Jesus withdrew to pray. Even the creator of the universe modeled rest. So, why do we think we're supposed to run ourselves into the ground. That's not faith, that's fear. Fear that if we stop, everything will fall apart. But here's the truth: if it falls apart without you, it was never yours to carry in the first place. And let me be clear, this isn't just about being tired, this is about life and death. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy related complications than white women in America. 3 to 4 times. And you know what? One of the contributing factors is the belief that Black women can endure more pain, that we don't need the same level of care, that our cries for help can be ignored because we're strong. That's not a compliment, that's a death sentence. Insight number 2: challenging the process means refusing to be the fixer of broken systems without power or protection. Workplace data shows that Black women are often placed in roles where they're expected to repair broken institutions, lead diversity efforts, and stabilize chaotic environments, yet they are rarely given the resources, authority, or support to do it. Tasha's message is clear: stop accepting positions where you are used as the solution but denied the tools. Demand structure, support, and justice, or walk away. Let me paint you a picture. There was a Black woman leader in corporate America. She was brilliant. She was celebrated as resilient. She was asked to fix culture, manage crises, and lead diversity initiatives. Sounds impressive, right? But here's what they didn't give her: no budget, no team, no real authority, just a title and a mountain of expectations. She was being extracted from, not supported. And when she finally named it, when she finally said, I'm not burnt out and I'm being used, the whole conversation shifted because burnout implies you're weak. Extraction names the system as broken. And here's the economic reality: systemic racism cost the US economy an estimated $16 trillion over 20 years. 16 trillion. And Black women bear a disproportionate amount of that human cost. We are asked to be both the moral compass and the crisis manager with minimal support, while the systems that drain us profit from our labor and our silence. Tasha's calling us to do the same thing that woman did: audit your life. Where are you being used under the banner of you're so strong? And what are you going to do about it? Insight number 3: your calling is bigger than your trauma. You are not just a testimony of survival, you are a builder of new systems. There is a long legacy of Black women who use their faith, vision, and resilience to pursue justice as peace, not just personal survival, but collective transformation. Tasha's journey from business administration to a master of divinity and surrendering her life to ministry is a living example. Your education, your faith, and your experience of being a Black woman in America are not a burden. They are tools God uses to disrupt and rebuild unjust processes. Let me share a story with you. There was a woman navigating single motherhood, economic stress, and emotional overwork. She was the classic strong Black woman, working a demanding sales job, carrying financial burdens, putting everyone's needs above her own. Her weight climbed above 320 pounds as she abandoned her own physical and emotional needs. She internalized the belief that her job was to be endlessly strong and self sacrificing, even as systemic inequities, like higher eviction risk for Black renters, weighed on her life. She grew up absorbing the message that Black women must be strong, uncomplaining, and selfless. Over time, this became her identity: the fixer, the provider, the one who never breaks. Only when her health and life began to unravel did she realize that this script was not liberation, it was bondage. But then something shifted. She named the strong Black woman expectation and how it was destroying her health and stability. She chose to prioritize her well being, set boundaries around work and caretaking, and seek help and support instead of carrying everything alone. She shifted from silent suffering to intentional community and self care. And the outcome? Improved stability emotionally, physically, and economically as she stopped glorifying overwork and started pursuing sustainable, healthy patterns. She redefined strength not as endless endurance, but as wisdom, boundaries, and a refusal to be extracted by systems that expect her to do it all. Her turning point came when she recognized that survival alone was not the life she was meant to live. And that's the word for you today. Survival alone is not the life you were meant to live. Let me share one more story because this one hits close to home for so many of us. Black women in academia face layered racism, sexism, and misogynoir. They're asked to sit on every diversity committee, mentor countless students, and represent Blackness in every institutional space. They're pressured to perform strength in silence, to be the strong Black woman who absorbs racism and gendered microaggressions without visibly breaking. Studies show that gendered racial microaggressions and colorism negatively impact psychological well being, including assumptions about beauty, intellectual capacity, and sexuality. But some of these women began to intentionally withdraw from the battlefield. They said no to service work that fell unfairly on them. They refused to be the token diversity representative in every meeting and prioritized research, writing, and personal flourishing over institutional performance. They created networks of mutual support where Black women could tell the truth about their experiences without having to perform strength. The outcome? Improved mental and emotional health as they stopped internalizing the demand to be always strong and always available, stronger scholarship and leadership as they reclaimed time and energy from exploitative institutional expectations, and the emergence of alternative spaces, formal and informal, where Black women's voices and experiences shape new academic and community practices. This is what Tasha is talking about. This is what it looks like to challenge the process, to refuse to be drained, to build something new. So, what would happen if more people and organizations adopted Tasha's perspective? If we stopped glorifying the strong Black woman who silently suffers and started honoring the Black woman who sets boundaries, seeks justice, and walks in wholeness, we would see healthier Black women, families, and communities. Research shows that the strong Black woman schema contributes to emotional suppression, delayed help seeking, and serious health risks. If we rejected that schema, more Black women would seek timely care, rest, and support, improving physical, mental, and spiritual health. We would see more just workplaces and systems. When organizations stop using Black women as fixers without support and start addressing racism structurally, we reduce the economic damage of racism and create environments where Black women can lead without being exploited. We would see a shift from survival to transformation. Black women have historically been central to movements for justice and positive peace, not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice. If their faith, vision, and boundaries are honored instead of drained, they can focus on building new systems rooted in equity and biblical justice, rather than constantly patching broken ones. Adopting Tasha's perspective would move us from using Black women's strength to sustain oppression to honoring Black women's calling to challenge, disrupt, and rebuild unjust processes in family, ministry, and business and society. So here's what I want you to remember: stop calling Black women strong if you are not willing to help make their world just. If you are a Black woman, audit your life for extraction. Where are you being used at work, at church, in family, under the banner of you're so strong? Choose one area this week where you will set a new boundary, say no, or ask for real support instead of silently carrying the load. If you are a leader or an ally, review your processes, not just your language. Where do you rely on Black women to fix culture, handle crises, or carry emotional labor without power, pay, or protection? Pick one concrete policy or practice to change in the next 30 days. Here's the truth that Tasha Osafo is preaching from the rooftops. Being a Black woman in America is not about proving how much pain you can survive. It's about walking in who God says you are and challenging every process that tries to make you anything less. This is not just a conversation. This is a movement. This is a reckoning. This is the moment where we stop accepting the lie that our value is in our capacity to endure and start claiming the truth that our value is in our God given identity as whole, beloved, and free. So I'm asking you today, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep wearing the cape until it suffocates you? Or are you going to drop it, set the boundary, and step into the softness, rest, and wholeness that God always intended for you? Not because you're weak, but because you're finally wise enough to know that strength without rest is extraction. And you were not created to be drained, you were created to be whole. This is your invitation. This is your permission. This is your liberation. Walk into your soft girl era with your head high, your boundaries firm, and your heart full. The world doesn't need another strong Black woman who silently suffers. The world needs you, whole, rested, and free, building the just systems we all deserve. Now go, set the boundary, say the no, choose yourself. And watch how God moves when you finally stop trying to be everything for everyone and start being exactly who He created you to be.